Today on Wildlife Nation Expedition Florida, we're exploring the Florida Keys, where we'll meet some of the rarest and most adorable mammals in North America.
This woodrat is absolutely adorable.
Then I joined the Miccosukee tribe and their effort to restore native animal species to the river of grass.
To see it disappearing slowly, we have to put a stop to that.
I'm Jeff Corwin. Wildlife Nation is dedicated to conserving the natural wonders of North America. And now we're teaming up with the Miccosukee tribe of Indians of Florida to safeguard the vibrant wilderness of the Sunshine State. We'll explore this region's diverse landscapes and extraordinary creatures as we work alongside the passionate conservationists dedicated to protecting them. This is Wildlife Nation Expedition Florida. We begin in Key Largo at Crocodile Lake National Wildlife Refuge. This stunning refuge was established to protect the breeding and nesting habitat for the endangered American crocodile. But it is also home to some of the rarest rodents in North America.
Well, my friends, welcome to the jungle. When you think of the Florida Keys, what probably does not come to your mind is this entangled web of life. And it's really critical to Mike Cove's research work. And what are we going to be looking for today?
So we are going to be trapping rodents, the Key Largo woodrat and Key Largo cottonmouth, two of the federally endangered species that this whole upland hammock forest protects. So this is really one of the only places you could see this type of forest in the United States.
And in fact, a lot of the areas where we'll be exploring today were on the chopping block for development. Thankfully, they've been recovered. But this is the last of the habitat. There's no more left.
Crocodile Lake's protected natural areas are closed to the public to protect animals like the imperiled woodrat and their very unusual stick nests.
Here's a nest.
Oh, wow.
The interior is full of sticks in different chambers of their nest. So they have a little cache, they have a little latrine, they have a place where they sleep, and then they just keep piling on because it's a subtropical environment. So all of the wood breaks down, right? So they have to constantly keep adding. The females build these giant elaborate nests, and they're multi-generational. When the mother dies, one of her female offspring from kind of like smaller satellite nests will move into that big nest and continue building it.
This is a multi-generational nest. Yeah. It's used from one generation to the next.
Right. What we should do is we should set probably 5 traps kind of flanking it.
Okay.
They don't require anything fancy in there. We're just gonna do oatmeal and peanut butter. Just throw some in the bottom, yep.
We set traps and continue on. Soon we find another nest.
So this actually looks like a good spot where we could take a microbial swab.
A swab?
Yeah.
So you're actually gonna sample something from the nest.
What we've learned so far about the woodrats is that they have unique microbial communities inside the nest. Some of the bacterial families that are in there have antibiotic producing properties.
That's amazing.
But some of the bacteria we've characterized are just novel bacteria.
Totally new to science.
Yeah. And so potentially there's a next antibiotic for human medicine.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
We place our traps and leave them to set overnight. As the forest darkens, Mike's trail cameras capture the woodrat, rebuilding its stick fortress. As day finally breaks, it is now time to check to see if our work has paid off.
We can just tell if they've been set, Mike, if the little hatch is closed, right?
Yeah, so those two are on their side. They look like maybe a raccoon messed with them, but they're closed, so if it has any weight to it.
Oh, this one definitely has weight, and there's something scampering.
Coming up, we work up this incredible woodrat.
Look at those eyes.
Oh my gosh, she is so... Oh, that was quick.
Today, we're in Key Largo with my friend, Dr. Mike Cove, a wildlife biologist specializing in the endangered woodrat. We set traps for the secretive rodents overnight, and now we're hoping to have captured one for Mike's critical conservation research.
This one definitely has weight, and there's something scampering.
Okay,
And it feels weighty.
let's feel. Yeah, that's definitely a woodrat, I'd say. All right, perfect. We're gonna have to put some masks and get our PPE, and we'll work this woodrat up.
We do not want to give anything to these wood rats because they are endangered. So you can see Mike is getting all his equipment ready to get this important data. This wood rat is, I'm gonna be super anthropomorphic here, it is absolutely adorable.
This is a giant mouse, is what you're seeing. Calling this a rat really did them a disservice, because that's really a misnomer, because rats and wood rats are not closely related. They're not even in the
Really?
same family. Calling this a rat is akin to calling a hyena a tiger. That's how distantly related they are.
That is so cool. So you want to transfer it?
Yes.
You got her.
Now look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Let's weigh her. So this is 240 with the bag. So she's a decent sized female. Presumably she'll be breeding here in this coming season.
How old would she be?
Like 6 to 8 months. We'll be able to give it an individual ear tag. Yep. And
Like that.
pinch, and let go.
Look at that.
923. Take a little bit of tissue for DNA.
Teeny tiny.
See that? That's
Yeah.
all you need for the DNA. So we have a little pit tag here.
You do it right under the skin?
So it goes right under the skin, in between the shoulder blades, just like a dog or cat, in and out.
Now, this amazing wood rat has its microchip, so for the rest of her life, she'll be a part of this amazing study.
I think she's about ready to go.
Okay.
I bet she'll go right back to her little stick nest here. Look at those eyes.
Oh my gosh, she is so... Oh! That was quick.
There's more than just one rare rodent in this protected area. We make our way to another part of the refuge, one with a very surprising past.
Back in the 70s, a development group were gonna sneak in 40,000 condos right here. They were able to stop that. So because of that endangered species, this place got to be protected. It saved that endangered species.
Yeah. And all the other species that use it.
Incredible.
Yeah. We set our traps in here. Mask on here. So the cotton mice are, a lot smaller. So I usually handle them
In a zippy?
in a zippy.
Here we go. Mouse. It looks like the wood rat.
Yeah.
Are they related?
They are closely related. They're in the same family.
Why is the cottonmouse endangered?
The same threats that face the wood rat face the cottonmouse as well. The cottonmouse does a little bit better because they're a lot more adapted to being eaten all the time, right? They have higher fecundity, they raise more young, but they still are super limited in distribution. They only live in these 2 protected areas here. So all that we're gonna do with the cottonmouse is just give her the same little ear tag that we give the wood rat. So why don't I get her ear in place so that we can do that. Oh. Sorry. That happens about 30% of the time with
Well,
cotton
because,
mice.
you have to remember, we're trying to be really gentle. We're trying to be very, very quick, and some things escape.
Yeah.
I will tell you that I'm still very excited. I just got to see one. We got to see a species that we've nearly lost. We come to Florida to do stories on all these charismatic beauties,
Yeah.
but they're no more important than a wood rat. These little guys, they matter just as much.
They're ecosystem engineers, and frankly, they're keystone ecosystem engineers.
You really get a sense of hope because we know that the numbers of wood rats and cotton mice, they can stabilize. We just need to give them the space and the place.
And manage the exotic predators.
Manage the exotic predators. Think invasive snakes. That's what we're gonna look at next.
I'm at Crocodile Lake National Wildlife Refuge with my friend Mike Cove. a wildlife biologist studying two of the most endangered mammals in the United States, the woodrat and the cottonmouse. But now we're on the trail of a very different creature.
Signal is getting really, really strong. That signal is coming from a radio transmitter that was attached to an opossum.
An opossum, yeah.
An opossum that is interconnected to your research project.
The opossums, as you know from the Everglades, have drastically declined, right? There are almost no opossums left in the Everglades. Similar story with raccoons. But opossums are still pretty common here in Key Largo. We are studying them to better understand their natural history, but when it goes on mortality signal like this, that alerts us that
Has been eaten by a predator.
Yeah.
So we are trying to find the predator that ate this opossum. And we've got about a 99.9% chance that that predator is an invasive species that has wreaked chaos in South Florida.
I hear it strong right here. Okay. You see anything?
I don't see anything. I see something
Whoa,
else.
oh.
I got him. Got him.
Hey.
Man. He was perfectly camouflaged.
Wow, you really couldn't see that thing.
This right here is a very wily, in predatory mode python.
Yeah.
Probably a male. We now know with confidence that this python has eaten one of the participants in your study.
Yeah.
All the native creatures are not adapted to this pressure. It comes in with hunting skills where it completely wipes out and overtakes the native creatures. That is why, if you go to the Everglades, 90% of those mammals are gone. They've been eaten up by these pythons.
This is one of the smaller snakes we've caught through this project, but some of them are big reproductive females. And hopefully by catching more large reproductive females, we can kind of slow down the population growth.
I think it's also very important to remind ourselves that this python did nothing wrong. This python is being a python. I love pythons. My career is built on snakes like this. I still get thrilled when I get to witness one of these animals.
Yeah.
But they don't belong here.
Thankfully, because of scientists like Mike, this last precious stretch of wild Key Largo will endure for generations to come. Coming up, we join the fight to restore the river of grass by returning creatures lost to invasive species. In the Everglades, numerous critical factors, including flawed water management and, just like in the Keys, invasive species like pythons have decimated the native wildlife. Today, the Miccosukee tribe of Indians of Florida is working to reverse that.
I would always come out here and appreciate the earth and appreciate the Everglades because it's my home. Not only that, it's my ancestors' home. To see it disappearing slowly, we have to put a stop to that.
We've teamed up with the South Florida Wildlife Center to return rescued animals back into the river of grass.
The great mission for this amazing wildlife center is that they're excellent at saving animals and giving them that second chance. But that second chance isn't fulfilled if they can't live in the wild.
It's very difficult. It's probably one of the hardest things is actually finding a safe place to release these animals. Because of all the development that's happening, all the new housing getting built up, they're literally building it on top of some of these patients' habitats. And that's why they're here.
So their challenge of not having places to relocate wildlife is fixed in solving their problem of not having the wildlife in their revered habitats. So Hector is gonna grab one of those hawks, put it in a flight cage to get it ready for the journey ahead.
We have 3 broad-winged hawks in here. The one we're actually going to be catching is the only adult. He already passed flight conditioning, so that's what cleared him for release.
Dr. Horgan gives our broad-winged hawk one last checkup.
Okay, so I'm just gonna take a little listen to his heart. Okay, that sounds good. He came in stunned, so he wasn't standing, but he bounced back pretty quickly with some supportive care, so it's possible he flew into something. We still want to do one last check of his feathers, make sure that they're in good condition.
Now it gets a second chance in a new home where hopefully it can be wild for a very, very long time.
Excellent job. Supporting our conservation effort is my good friend Marcel, the director of Miccosukee Fish and Wildlife.
A lot of different agencies are working together. We're getting the water levels a little bit better under control. We're seeing the plant communities improve. And it's now at the point where we could bring in the animals. We could bring them and the landscape is now suitable for them. So we know that they're gonna be successful. And we're seeing year over year, we're hitting all these mile markers. And so it's not just hope for the sake of hope, right? It's hope because we're on the right path.
I'm going to hand him off to you, so go ahead and grab him right behind his head and go ahead and put him in there really quick. Good job.
While Hector and Marcel gather more opossums, I'm here for another patient who just got cleared for release.
Melanie, what's the backstory of this Chuck Will's widow?
So they're actually flying into people's houses. Maybe there's a lamp outside, they see bugs.
Reflection.
Yep, this guy got trapped in a house and actually beat himself up trying to get out. He did sustain some ulcers, which we were able to treat here. He was checked today for those ulcers and they're no longer present, so he's cleared for release.
So this is it. This is our beautiful Chuck Will's widow. Did you see that giant mouth? Look at those big eyes. They tell you how nocturnal this is. It's got those fluffy feathers which muffle the sound, so it's not making a lot of noise when it's hunting around. What makes them so cool, Melanie?
I would probably have to say the way that she sits. If you didn't know that that was an actual bird, you wouldn't know that she was there. And we have a soft carrier here. It enables for a safe release.
Well, my friends, as usual, the South Florida Wildlife Center did not disappoint. Some exciting stuff. But our real adventure begins right now because Marcel and Hector and the whole conservation team from the Miccosukee were heading on out to the hammocks and giving these amazing species of wildlife, from birds to raccoons to opossums, a second chance and a new home.
We're back in the beautiful Miccosukee Everglades, ready to complete our very important mission.
From the South Florida Wildlife Center to this incredible wilderness managed and culturally treasured by the Miccosukee. In fact, we have members of the community here to be a part of this amazing moment. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Excited?
I'm very excited.
All right. So we got a whole smorgasbord. We got ourselves a swamp buggy ark of critters.
Yep, got it.
Among these sacred tree island hammocks, these animals will help restore a delicate web of life. Up first, Marcel and tribe member Trish begin with the opossums.
We have changed and have had to evolve with the world around us. So I think it's important for everybody to get as involved as they can and just giving back to the earth that gives to us.
Raising awareness, helping the animals, helping the tribe, everything.
We got Amber and Kendall. You guys are part of this incredible program, the Ambassadors Program. What's the backstory of that?
So the Miccosukee Embassy Fellowship was created to educate the outside world more about the tribe's culture and history. It's especially important for the tribe to be educating our neighbors, Miami-Dade and Broward County, to be able to know who their next door neighbors are that live out here in the Everglades.
And Native peoples, indigenous peoples, have been living here for tens of thousands of years in Florida.
Yeah.
The first people of Florida
Yeah.
were your ancestors, which is kind of incredible.
Makes me very proud and very honored to be able to be a part of this in my generation.
And today that involves getting these adorable raccoons back out into the environment Now they have their new home in this amazing hammock.
Next, it's time for the cattle egret and broad-winged hawk to return to the skies above this sacred hammock.
So I think this is the first time ever a Chuck Will's widow has been repatriated to this ecosystem on the Miccosukee landscape. You ready?
Absolutely.
All right. It's all you, buddy.
I wouldn't be doing this job if I didn't have hope. For me, that's the only way of life I know, to be out here and to appreciate the Everglades. This will always be home.